Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm getting over the flu, so I don't sound quite like myself. I didn't die, don't worry. We're gonna talk about PlayStation, we're gonna talk about Sony, and I think this is an indicator that Sony is going to try to become a Japanese video game company once again. So last week, they put a new CEO in charge of PlayStation, and it was a Japanese guy. And it was a very sudden move. And now fast forward to this week, and they're laying a bunch of people off in California. Now, what do I think is going on? Well, I think Sony is trying to save its ass, is what I think is going on. I think they had massive failure after failure with Western developed titles. I think Concord might have actually been the straw that broke the camel's back. It reportedly cost, what was it, $400 million or something? I think Colin Moriarty did a podcast about that. And it was $200 million to make the game the first time, $200 million more to fix the game because they hired a bunch of DEI hires who didn't know what the hell they were doing, so they had to bring professionals in to try to salvage it. And then they wound up shutting it down within 2 weeks. And I think they're looking at the landscape right now, and they're realizing AAA Western games are not where it's at. Now, here's the problem. You think, well, it's Sony. They're a Japanese video game company, right? Not really. In fact, the PlayStation brand is pretty badly damaged in Japan. They shut down their Japan studio, a couple of years ago, and I think this is all, California whispering in their ear. And I think Sony just realized, again, this is speculation on my part, but I think Sony realized that they've been led down the wrong path, and it's a path of destruction, right? And if they want to course correct, they're going to have to go back to being a Japanese video game company. They can publish Western titles, but their bread and butter, their core product needs to be Japanese developed video games, and that's what the market wants right now. Those are the games they're selling. That's what gamers want right now. So we're going to look into this. We're going to see what's going on. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. So this is coming from 80 level. PlayStation California office fires an undisclosed number of employees. So the job cuts come in the wake of the programming tools provider SN Systems getting fully integrated into Sony. The industry-wide layoffs show no sign of stopping as Sony Interactive quietly fires an undisclosed number of PlayStation employees, including former senior design technologist Oscar Diaz. He's one of the affected workers. He said, most of my team was just laid off from PlayStation. It was a dream to get to work with Sony on the platform I'd grown up playing since the PS1 and contribute to the PS5 Portal, PSVR 2, PS App, and future consoles. If you know anyone who needs an engineer experienced native console UI, feel free to reach out. Good luck finding a job in this market. I think that a lot of these Japanese companies, a lot of these game developers are going to be very reluctant to hire a lot of Western developers at this point. It's a hunch I have. It's a feeling I have. And I think after, Assassin's Creed comes and goes too, it's going to be even more obvious that, we really got to course correct here. And that's Ubisoft, but just industry-wide, they have to course correct. So it's first spotted on Reddit by user Ice Popsicle Dragon. Diaz's post across the social media pages revealed that he and the majority of his team were laid off from PlayStation with no reason provided for the job cuts. Well, I think it's a new CEO. And we talked about this last week. I said, it feels like they're going to try to de-Westernize PlayStation, which has become a California brand. And they basically just, let their Japanese audience kind of twist. The last couple of years, they didn't care. It was all about, Western games for a Western audience, and not just a Western audience, a very woke Western audience. And all that's over. It's over. People are done with it. And they know it. They know where things are going. And the next phase is, let's just go back to making games. Go back to making games. Just fun games, right? Because a lot of Western games, they don't even feel like games. They're interactive movies. All right. So as always, the studio's refusal to explain when its action feels As always, a studio's refusal to explain its actions fuels speculation, with the community now theorizing why these particular layoffs have taken place. The most likely explanation appears to be the recently announced full integration of SN Systems, a provider of programming tools for PlayStation developers, into Sony Interactive Entertainment. A move made public just a day before Oscar's post about the layoffs. And given that both Oscar's department and SN Systems specialize in tools development, this theory does sound plausible. A year ago, Sony also let go of some of its employees, but at least back then they officially acknowledged it. No, I think this is a very easy cut, but I think they're going to cut a lot of people, and I think they're going to cut a lot of people from California. Because again, I think California has led them astray, and they know it. They know it. They said, yeah, the layoffs were hard last year, and the dismissed personnel were talented. However, it appears their talents were ultimately deemed unnecessary for Sony's mission to continue bringing the best gaming experiences to the community. Later in the year, the company also shut down Firewalk Studios, the developer of what was by far the worst AAA game of 2024, Concord. I think this is the catalyst right here. I think Concord is costing California, Sony, PlayStation employees dearly. I think the new boss is going to come in. It's going to be like, did you ever see Gung Ho with Michael Keaton? He's going to come in and they're just going to get rid of people that don't work. I believe this new guy probably has a mandate to course correct. This is why they had such a sudden leadership change. And yeah, so they said some ex-Firewalk members appear to be doing just fine, with it recently coming to light that Pamela Pichetto, the director of marketing and operations behind the infamous hero shooter, has landed a job as senior product marketing manager on Halo. Oh yeah, this will be totally fine. Halo's saved, guys. Halo's saved. Oh my God. Okay, so this is let's see. This is coming from Kotaku in Action. Pronouns in bio: don't hire this man. He, they should go flip burgers. This was inevitable. Hey, it's the guy who forced Japanese developers to switch the X and O buttons. I remember this, in the closure of the Japan studio all happened at the beginning of Jim Ryan's era. Yeah. Yeah. Growing up playing PS1, and he became a he, they. Are we playing the same games? That is true. Like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, God, it just seems like a completely different era. It seems like a completely different company. Because now when I think of PlayStation, I don't get the warm fuzzies like I had for so many PS1 games back in the day. I just think like, oh, what AAA woke nonsense is Sony going to push now? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then we have the whole pissing match between PlayStation users and Xbox users, and it's just like, it's so stupid. I think, you know, again, this is just speculation on my part, but I think they're going to try to course correct. I think they're going to try to reclaim the Japanese market. I think they're going to try to compete with Nintendo now, because I think they see an opening, because Xbox is kind of weak at this point. So I think they're going to look at Nintendo as their primary competitor and be like, yeah, you know what? If we're going to compete with Nintendo, then we're going to have to go back to being a Japanese company, develop a lot of our flagship titles with Japanese staff. Maybe they'll open the Japan studio up again. I don't know. But I think they're trying to slowly wean themselves off of California. Just a hunch I have. Just based on the things that have been going on the last couple weeks, especially, it just feels like something. There's a sea change coming, and it's going to be a doozy, I think. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I think we're going to wrap this up, guys. Again, apologize for the voice. Getting over being sick. It sucks. The flu sucks. Wash your hands. All right, we'll talk later.